First tonight, the doctor who made an unexpected house call and stayed put. Mary and Murray Wallace say the doctor turned squatter on their family property and it led to an ugly standoff.
It is not for sale. It will not be for sale. We aim to keep it in the family.
On the edge of Melbourne's leafy east lies almost 2 acres of hillside property with beautiful bush views. It's a block that's been in the family of Mary and Murray Wallace for decades. 85 plus years in the family, and we're keeping it in the family. Murray and Mary are in their late 70s. A ladder accident means Murray has to wear a back brace, and with all the drama of the pandemic, the couple haven't visited the hillside block in a number of years. But in late January, they ventured out to see their land, only to find a lock on the gate that wasn't theirs and a man sitting in a deck chair.
It was a great shock to go to our own driveway and find that the gates are locked against us and somebody else's car is in there. You do feel frightened because here's this person that you do not know who's almost barred you from your own property.
As the shock subsided, Mary and Murray noticed a new letterbox had been installed and new locks had been put on the house.
So this man was on your property,
yeah,
without your permission?
That's right.
And the police said they couldn't remove him?
Couldn't remove him unless there's violence.
There wasn't violence, but the man did make a remarkable claim.
He said, "Who are you?" And I said, "To my name." And he said, well, he owns the property.
He then produced a business card which shocked the Wallaces all over again. This was no desperate squatter. The card identified the man as Dr. Ryan Smith, a medical physicist at Melbourne's Alfred Hospital.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
How are you guys?
All right, thanks, Nick.
At this point, Mary and Murray's daughter Katie and her husband Lachlan were informed.
I basically didn't sleep that night. Neither of us did we? Dad could have had a heart attack or anything. They're not well people. They're not fit people. So it was really distressing to know that they dealt with all of that themselves at the time. That was horrible.
The pair initially doubted a doctor would be involved in something like this, only to have that doubt blasted out of the water.
The police told me the following day when I spoke to them, no, he is who he says he is, he checks out. So for my dad to be confronted with a doctor from the Alfred, you would think that somebody with that role is not in need of finding somewhere else to inhabit.
Lachlan and Katie texted Smith asking him to leave, a reply reading in part, "If I receive any further threats, verbal or otherwise, I will refer this on to the police." And then, when Katie contacted neighbours of her parents' block, the locals reported back that Smith had made claims to them as well.
He's told us that there's a dispute in the family, but there might be some relatives who don't...
Who were disgruntled that I was able to acquire this property.
Who were disgruntled I've acquired this property.
So it would appear like this person has at least provided the neighbours with a sense of doubt, should you, the rightful owners, ever show up and try and claim the property?
Yes.
That's
exactly what happened.
A title search shows no recent sale of the land and records Mary's family name, Williamson, as the rightful owners of the property. Mary and Murray have also produced records showing they've been paying rates on the block for years.
We've been looking for Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
Right.
Do we have your permission to go on the property and see if he's there?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
With that undertaking, we were off to the prized block to look for signs of Dr. Smith or his wife Melissa.
With Murray and Mary's permission, we're now on the property, and you can see that the guest they never invited has clearly made themselves at home. There's a barbecue here, a couple of eskies. They've even erected this marquee to give themselves some shade while they go about whatever it is they're doing here.
In addition to the homely touches, an expensive-looking CCTV system has been installed with stickers claiming to have 24-hour security running at the property.
Well, there's no sign of Ryan or Melissa Smith, but there is one trespasser, a four-legged trespasser. And speaking to Lockie and Katie and Mary and Murray, they say they have no idea how the horse arrived on their property, but if this is to go down the legal avenue, well, they're ready to saddle up.
In Victoria, the obscure adverse possession law does transfer land to someone who has had uninterrupted possession of a block for 15 years. It seems the squatters on the Wallace's property arrived in September, meaning that by the time they were discovered, they were more than 14 years short.
So what's your message to Mr. Smith or whoever's on the land at the moment?
Well, he should go back to his own land if he's got some.
And it turns out he does. Mr. Smith and his family live in a two-storey home in a neighbouring suburb. Oddly, within minutes of our arrival, someone called the police.
Well, we're going to go knock on the door then, if that's okay?
Yeah, that's fine, mate.
As for Dr. Smith, he wasn't home and no one was coming to the door. Our attempts to contact him by phone and email have not received a response. A few days later, Lachlan and Katie took action to reclaim the property. After an inspection by local council, they replaced the squatters' locks.
But sadly, it seems the other party here isn't getting the message. It's now been a few weeks since we first visited the block, and the padlocks that Katie and Lachlan installed on the gate here have been replaced with a lock they don't recognise. The nightmare, it seems, continues for Mary and Murray.
Later that day, police made a house call to Dr. Smith, while on the other side of town, an elderly couple continued to battle a case of uncertainty.
Being told this is no longer your property by someone we have never met, never heard of. He should realise that that frightens older people.